Alrighty, good afternoon and welcome to the Skill Up Show. I am super excited to be back here after last week we weren't able to make it, but hey, we are here today, and in today's show, we are going to be talking about why it is important for your young children, yes, your young child, and especially your preteens, why it is important for them to set goals for themselves. If you are on the stream right now, you can see me and you can hear me, then please let me know in the comments that you can see me or you can hear me so that we can throttle. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. This was said by Eleanor Roosevelt. Dear parents, do your children believe in their dreams? Are your children dreaming? Are you encouraging your child to dream? If you are not, then you are not offering them their future. Because according to Roosevelt, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. When we position children to recognize the place of their dreams and to know the power of their dream, then we point them towards dreaming. Is your child dreaming? My name is Maribeth Chima, and I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. I am the proud matron, very proud one, of the Mastermind Circle, a peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for young children and preteens, where we guide these children, we position them, and we encourage them to dream. We say to the children as a mantra, you are not too young to dream. And so, if you can dream, then you can set goals to achieve those dreams. And if you can set goals to achieve those dreams, then the rest will be history. Because with hard work, with focus, and with accountability, you are able to make baby steps towards those goals. And this is what we are talking about in the Skill Up Show. Why we need to position young children to begin to see themselves as people who can set goals and can achieve those goals. It really doesn't matter how young your child is, whether your child is 6, 8, 10, 12, or 13. They are capable of setting goals. And with the right guidance, with the right support, and with the right accountability, they are able to work towards achieving those goals. All right, so today we're going to be looking at three areas, okay? We're going to be taking this class on a different note, from what we do or what you hear all the time. All right, we are looking at why our children should set goals. Why should my 6-year-old set goals? Does it really matter? Why should my 14-year-old be setting goals? Does it really matter? I'm here to say to you today that yes, it does matter that you're 6-year-old and every child is setting goals. Yes, it's really very key. And I can say this because this is what we do with the children in the Mastermind Circle. When the children come on board the circle, the first thing we do is we make them understand the power, the giant that lies within them. We make the children understand that deep down inside of them, there is a giant there and they have to discover that giant. We make them understand that God has created them purposefully. God has created them. Yes, God has created them for a purpose. And he has not just created them for a purpose. The Lord has gone ahead to put within them and around them everything that they need to achieve that purpose. And so it is their job to search within them and to use every resources available to them to find, or to live that purpose so that they can live the life that God has created them to live. All right? These are the kind of things we want to start talking to our children about if we are going to get them on that path to becoming everything that God has created them to be. All right? Why are we having children set goals? The first thing we're going to be looking at today is why our children should set goals, right? And what these goals would do for them when they set the goals. All right. Some of the areas that we have come to realize that it's important that our children set goals, or some of the reasons why it's important that our children set goals, it's because we need them growing and developing themselves in different areas. All right. We need our children growing and developing themselves in different areas of their lives. If we can make them see this, if we can make them understand this, and we can make them believe this, then we can get them on the path to indeed setting goals and achieving goals for themselves. One of these is for us to actualize our family vision. In order to achieve our family vision, we must get our children to start setting goals. We must get our children to start living, right? To start living every day towards achieving the goals that they set. Why do we need them? Or why do we need to achieve this family vision? Through our children understanding their place and, of course, doing their part. It will help us, right, to achieve our shared purpose. All right. God aligned family members. He put us together as family members for a purpose. So your family has got a purpose. Let your child understand this. As a family, we have a purpose. As a family, we have common goals. All right. Now, when we help our children understand the place of our common goals, then they would understand the role that they play in achieving those common goals. And that way, our children are able to set, or we're able to guide them to set goals that were plans that will help them achieve our common goal. When we do this, we foster unity in the family. We help our children understand their role in the family, and we help them understand why it is important that they are working alongside every other person to achieve these goals. So you want to give your child a reason why they should set goals, then let them know that as a family, we have common goals. As a family, we have a purpose. As a family, we have a mission that God has given, or God has assigned to us, and you play a part in that. When children understand this, when parents are able to demonstrate and are able to live and model this to their children, then children begin to understand the place of them setting goals and working towards achieving those goals. All right, number two, it will help create stronger bonds between you and your children. Working together to achieve shared goals will actually strengthen the bonds between us in our family. It will help to strengthen our relationships. So when as a family we have a common mission, when as a family we understand our mission, and we are able to craft out a vision for, or craft out certain visions for our family, then our children understand their role and why they need to set goals and stay on track to achieve those goals. All right. I remember sharing with a group of parents some time back, and we're talking about, the family vision. And someone said, something, as a family, when you have a vision, your children are propelled towards being focused, and your children are able to create their own small vision that can be accommodated within the family's big vision. Now, when you position yourself that way as a family, and at every point your children know that we are on a mission, we have certain vision as a family, you teach your children to stay focused. So it's easy for them to create their own vision, individual vision, and it's easy for them to pursue their own goals, basically because you have modeled what it means to have a big vision. So families that have a big vision, family that know where they are going to, they have a sense of direction, they are building together, end up raising children who are focused and are able to carve out their own vision and pursue those visions. So very, very key. It will also enhance communication in your family. Yes, when you set goals, when you have a common vision, when you have a mission as a family, you have created a relationship that allows you to communicate, because you're communicating on how to achieve this vision or the visions that you have. All right. From when your children are young, they understand that you are a unit and you have a mission. All right. Having a mission is saying, as a family, this is what we are about. As a family, this is what we have as a family to give to humanity. So when you are in that place as a family where you understand that you were not, you were not brought together for joke. It wasn't a fluke that you are, that I am your father and this is your mom and this is your sibling. It is for a purpose. So when children are raised to see themselves that way or to see their families that way. When children are raised to see their family as something that is bigger than each of us as individuals, to see their family as a group that God has put together for a mission or to achieve a mission, then we foster great communication between us and our children or amongst us as a family. It also increases resilience. Yes, it also increases resilience. Family goals can help children develop a sense of resilience, teaching them to preserve themselves even through challenges. Because when you have a common mission, or you have visions, you have goals that you are achieving or you're trying to achieve as a family, the children watch firsthand from you as their parents how to stay on track, how to push even in the midst of pressure, how to push even in the midst of hard times, how to push even in the midst of difficulties. There, as a parent, you're able to pass down convictions. You're able to teach your children how to weather through storms. You're able to teach your children how to stay focused on the goal, how to stay focused on the vision. While you are doing this, you are preparing them for a time when you are not there. You're preparing them for a time where they can pursue their own goals. So it is critical, it is important that even as children, our children become a part of a big goal that we have as a family, become a part of the big visions that we have as a family. That's where they have a responsibility and they are able to set their own goals or we're able to set goals together on how they can achieve their part of the common goal that we have as a family. It is a great way to understand or help your children begin to understand the place of goal setting and actualizing those goals. Very, very critical. It becomes a legacy, all right? It's a way to build legacy with your children. By setting family goals, you're able to build a legacy for future generations. You teach your children what you expect of them. You teach their children how to build legacy after their own generation. With their children. Your children are able to learn firsthand from you how to build a family that is strong, a family that is solid, a family that transcends, a family that outlives you as a parent. So when you do this, you're able to model to your children how to build a formidable force of a family, basically. Okay, that way you are, of course, passing down a legacy to your children. So, yes, because we are not anyhow people, because we are not raising children who are anyhow people, it is important that we achieve or we work towards achieving common family visions. And as we do this, it's a great way to help our children learn to start setting goals, all right, and learn to start achieving goals. They see and they watch us, and as we model this to them, it becomes a part of them. So, yes, why not? Why shouldn't our 6-year-olds? Why shouldn't our 8-year-olds? Why shouldn't our 10-year-olds begin to set goals when they have watched you set goals as a family? When they've watched us set goals and try to achieve those goals together as a family? When we have communicated our purpose? When we have communicated our mission as a family? When the conversation is ongoing? When the children hear of the feedback that we have? When we have expectations and they know this? When we're holding ourselves accountable and we're holding them accountable? When we do all of this, our children will understand the place of goals and they will they will actually internalize this and it will become a part of them. So this is one of the reason why our children need to learn, or why our children should set goals, or why we should get them in that place where they should start setting goals today. Okay, and we can do it through our family system. All right, now at the end of this month, okay, no, in the first week of January, all right, we have a vision workshop. We have a vision workshop, a mastermind vision workshop. That's what we call it. We do this workshop every year to get children into that space. All right, you'll know the place of mentorship and the place of collaboration and partnership in your parenting. If you're a parent and you are still parenting alone in this 21st century, there is something that you are missing out in your parenting. You need to look for people who speak the language that you speak. You need to look for people who can reinforce the things that you are doing with your children. You need to look for other trusted people. You need to look for other trusted people you need to look for other people who share common convictions, right, with you, okay, and can pass this down to your children. Why is this? You know that thing about, your children hearing the same thing that they hear from you at home, hearing it from a system or from another person, right, that can be trusted. It's very key. It gives authenticity to what it is that you are saying. Okay, a lot of times, I mean, whether we like it or not, right, there's a way our children listen to us or they see us, right, as their parents. A lot of times, because outside there's so many watered down things going on outside, there's so many people who are not living that intentional life that you want to live as a family. Their friends are not in that space. The parents of their friends are not in that space. Out there, everything is watered down. And so when it just boils down to you in your family saying these things, sometimes they begin to think it's just you overdoing. So you want to create systems, or you want to put your children in an environment where your children can hear the same thing that you are hearing. Well, I mean, that you are saying to them, where they can see another adult that they can trust say the same thing, where someone is confirming or reaffirming something or the things that you have said, where they can be in communities with other children who are living, or who have the same values or similar values as the values that you preach in your home. If you're doing this all by yourself and it's only you, and every time your children go out in school, in other social gatherings and all of that, when they communicate with their friends, and all of that, if these people are not speaking your language or not saying what corroborates what it is that you are saying, it's a matter of time. That thing about, in the parable when he said that the seed was planted amongst thorns. That's the same thing that happened with your children. It's not as if you've not planted, but when there are too many challenges and too many disparity outside there, everything is conflicting with what you are saying. They are prone to falling into temptation or disbelief and all of that. So that's why, as much as you're working with your children, you want to put them in environments where your children are hearing the same thing that you are saying, where your children are seeing models or people who live the same kind of, or similar, will live with similar values, right, and morals like you are preaching or like you are living in your home. You want them to put them in an environment where they can see other young people who do not do the things that their classmates do from morning to night, or every time, where they can meet other people whose parents sound like you. That's what we're talking about. So that's why you want them in systems like the systems that we create for children. All right, so you can get your child to be a part of our vision workshop. It's a 1-day workshop. Okay, they can come in there. Now, that workshop, usually we would give that workshop for 10,000 naira. That's the cost of the workshop. But no, this year we're not doing that. You don't have to pay. All your child needs to be a part of that workshop is to own to get one of our books, or to get our bundle. Our books are amazing, by the way, like super amazing. If your child is not reading my book, if your child has not read any of my book, and that child is older than 7 years old, then you're wrong. You're wrong. There's so much that you're leaving on the table. We have amazing books. I'll be sharing some of them with you at the end of this class. But all you need to do is get a copy of one of our books, or get the bundle, the holiday bundle that we have put together. If you get the bundle, then the child gets three bonuses. One of them is being or having access to the vision workshop that I'm talking about, that is worth 10,000 naira. So each of the books is 4,000 naira. All you need is one of them, or don't just buy the books because of the vision workshop. Buy the books because the books are amazing and your child needs them. So you need the entire bundle. We have the the Stories for Champions series. It has 4 books. You can buy 4 of them for 16,000. We have the Skill Up series. It's got 4 books also, with a journal. You can buy that also for 16,000 or 4. Or you can buy one of the books, just a single book, and you can get that for 4,000 naira. Any one of them will get you into the vision workshop. Or you can buy all of our books, 10 of them, for 35,000 naira instead of 39. We have 10 books altogether, children books and 2 parents books. And instead of 39,000, you can get them for 35, and you get to save 4,000 naira. All right. So all of this is available, but get your child into the vision workshop. You will be glad you did, because we want to get them into that place where they understand not just why they need to set goals, they understand how to set goals, and they understand how to create plans that will help them achieve those goals. We will give them tools and strategies also that they need in goal setting, like visualization, vision board, and all of that. And we will teach the children how to have an active vision board where they are constantly interacting with throughout the course of the year. We need our children getting into that space where they understand their whys and they understand the how, and of course they can begin to build a solid foundation. Trust me, parents, the things that we teach our children today, all right, the things that we teach our children today and we introduce to our children early are the things that through practice over the years our children can internalize, and it becomes a part of them, so that by the time they become teenagers and young adults, they are not struggling with the same kind of things that their mates are struggling, because at the time when they were developing themselves, right, at the time that they were developing themselves, or at the time that they were building personal, building, getting fulfillment, pursuing personal fulfillment, at the time they were doing that, their friends were busy, watching TV and playing video games, and that's about it. But your child is growing in wisdom and in depth even while they are playing as children, just because you introduce them to these things that we're talking about today. You introduce them to the place of personal development and pursuing personal fulfillment. Very critical, I thought, to add that. All right, number 2, for the sake of their own vision. You want your children to understand and to start setting goals for the sake of their own vision. Why is this? Number 1, when our children learn to set goals, when our children understand the place of goal setting, when our children begin to set goals, when our children learn the strategies that will help them achieve the goals that they set, what happens is our children become self-aware. It increases their self-awareness. Yes, setting personal goals help children to understand their strength. It helps them to understand their weaknesses. It helps them to understand their aspirations. It helps them to build their emotions, and it helps them to harness their potentials, of course, and live life using their value system. All right, so the earlier we get them to that place where they understand that they are the most important constants in their lives and that they need to take the front stage in their lives. When we do this, then we definitely will be introducing them to the place of setting goals and staying on track to achieve those goals. So yes, you make them become more aware of themselves. Self-awareness is one of the most important things that you want to give to your child as early as possible. When the child is aware of who he is, I know who I am, I know my strength, I know my weaknesses, I understand my emotions. all of this. I understand my emotions, and these are my values. These are my convictions. I stay on them. I stay with them no matter what. That is self-awareness. That is what a lot of our young people don't have today. Yes, even young adults, too many young adults do not even have this. That is the reason why one day they are on this track, the next day they are following the crowd, the next day they are following trends, another day they are following another. For anything shiny can dissuade them, anything shiny can distract them from what is important. It's because they lack self-awareness. So, but when you can introduce children to setting goals early, you introduce them to knowing themselves more and becoming more aware of themselves. Number two, it increases motivation. Yes, it increases motivation. When children understand why they are setting goals, when children understand, the need to set goals, then they can focus on the big picture, which ends up being their motivation. Why am I doing this? Why do I have to do this? If I do this, what will happen at the end? This is the motivation. So when we do this, personal goals gives our children a sense of purpose. It gives them a sense of, where am I going to? Why am I doing this? Okay, if I do this, what would be? What's the outcome of this? Okay, that outcome, that result becomes the motivation for your child. All right, so that's why it's very important that we get them to that space where they can set goals. And then, of course, because when setting goals, there's usually a vision ahead of you, our children can learn to focus on the vision and focus, and that becomes a motivation. All right, of course, with all of these, they would increase to increase their self-esteem, right? The more you win, the more you understand yourself, right? The more you understand yourself, or the more you become self-aware, the easier it is. Sorry, just give me a second. All right. So the more you understand yourself, the more children understand themselves, the more they become self-aware. The more aware you are, the more you build your inner strength and self-sufficiency. As children build their sufficiency, they become resourceful. Okay, as resourceful, as they become more resourceful, that's how they begin to win in different areas of their life. There is nothing that will boost your confidence. There is nothing that boosts your confidence as much as you winning at what it is that you are doing. So achieving personal goals will boost a child's confidence and their self-worth. All right. So this is why you want them to set goals. All right. You do not win when there is no goal, right? So when they set goals, then they're able to track their success more. All right. And so they're able to see how much they win. So this is what I do with the children. Every time a child fails at something, okay, every time a child fails at something, or a child is struggling with something, the first thing we do, or the first thing I do, is I try to remind them, I try to take their minds back to things that they have done in the past and they have been successful at. That alone is enough to boost their sense of who they are and their sense of worth, or self-worth, basically. Now you can remember, I have won at something. I have been a champion at something. And so if I didn't win at this, it's not because I stopped being a champion. It's because I probably need to put in more effort, because I know I have won before. So I am capable of winning. All right. So the more goals our children set, the more they achieve those goals, the more confidence they build, of course, because their self-esteem is boosted with every time that they achieve a goal. So that's why you want children to achieve goals, so that the winning, the occurrence of winning is more. All right. It can be as simple as, it can be as simple as the child setting a goal to, be more, to do well in a particular subject. It can be as simple as the child setting a goal to arrive school at 7:30, okay, at a certain time this term. Okay, it's probably something that they've struggled with, throughout the previous term or in the past. It could be something that they've gotten in trouble, over for over and over again. It could be something as simple as being able to cook a particular meal that they've made a mess of over and over again. It could be as simple as being able to wake up at a particular time. I promise you, every time the child works towards this and every time they achieve it, there is a sense of, boost. There's a boost to their self-esteem. And this is how confidence is actually built. So it's very key. So the more goals our children set, or the more our children get into goal setting, the more they can build themselves in this area. Of course, it also enhances their problem solving skills. When you set goals, now there are expectations. Now there is a target. Now there is a vision. Now there is a destination that you're trying to get to. All right. Now, because you have a vision, there is bound to be focus. Or we encourage them, right, to stay focused on those goals. But if they don't set goals, there is nothing to encourage them to stay focused on because there isn't a big picture to look at. So the more our children set goals, the more we have a big picture to point them at. The more we have what it is or the motivation that there is to point them at. The more our children do this, they will struggle at some point. They will fall by the sideway at other points. They will have to keep on pushing. As they do this, they are building resilience. As they do this, they figure out ways to solve their problems. Okay, and this is how problem solving skills is improved or is enhanced, and all of that. So it's really very key, all right, that our children are able to do this. The last one we're going to be talking about in the area of their self development, their own vision, is future preparedness. All right. So when we teach children to set goals, when we get our children to start setting goals and staying focused on those goals, our children begin to prepare themselves for the future. Because this is what the future is about. The big pictures that you see, the big goals that you set, or that's vision that you are trying to achieve. So when our children set goals, they start by setting small goals, short-term goals, and then they move on to setting mid-term goals. And then they get to the point where they are setting long-term goals. So your child can set a goal for the next 10 years, the next 5 years. What does it do? This keeps the child focused on the picture, the big picture, focused on what it is that they want to see in 10, 20 years, 5 or 10 years time, pending on their long-term goals. And as they do this, this is them preparing for a future. So when we get children to start setting goals, we are getting them set for the future. Okay, when we do this, we're also preparing them with the skills that they need in the future. Because yes, resilience and all of this, self-esteem, resilience, confidence, responsibility, self-control, discipline, this is all that our children, these are some of the things rather. So these are some of the skills, right? These are some of the skills that our children develop while they are trying to stay on track their goals and see their goals through. The ability to stay in power. The children learn all of this. Now we already know, dear parents, that these are the skills that our children need in the future to navigate and be successful, isn't it? They will start businesses. They will need all of this. They will need self-discipline. They will need self-control. They will need resilience. They will need all of these things that we are talking about in order for them to start those businesses, stay on track on those businesses, and see the businesses to the point of success. Okay, they will need this as inventors. They will need this as creatives. They will need this as employers of labor. They will need this as employees. They will need this as captains of industries. They will need this as government officials. They will need this in every area of their lives. They will need this in their marriages. They will need this as parents. So just keeping our children in that place where they understand goal setting those goals and living through those goals, it's you and I preparing them for their future. All right, so these are some of the reasons why we can't joke. We cannot joke with our children learning how to set goals. In the mastermind circle, I don't know if I've mentioned this right earlier on. When children come into the circle, the first thing they do is set goals. Okay, the mastermind circle, by the way, is our peer mentorship and accountability group that we run for children and young teens. And yes, young teens, preteens and young teens. Okay, the children come in when they are 6 years old, and we send them off as graduates after they turn 14, at the end of the cohort of the year where they turn 14. All right, and these are the things that we do with them when they come in. We get them to set goals, we get them to create plans to achieve their goals, and we get them to stay focused on those goals through our accountability system. Okay, as they do this, the children learn all of these things that we're talking about: resilience, accountability, resilience, accountability, self-control, self-management. They learn all of these things that they will need as they grow older. All right, so these things are so key, dear parents. We can't begin to joke with them. All right, so I say again to parents, as much as you are working on yourself and becoming intentional as a parent, it's important that you understand the place of the child also walking their journey. So children need to be in accountability systems, I promise you. It just a lot for them. It just so much for them. For one, it gives them what to behold. For one, it gives them what to behold. It allows them be in a community of like minds, or they see other children who are making efforts and pushing themselves. Some of them become an inspiration for each other. All right, we have taken it a notch in the mastermind circle through the different strategies that we use. We have the body system where the children are supporting each other as pairs, basically. We have the group system where the children have leadership positions where they can actually be group leaders, they can lead their team, they can lead their body groups, and all of that. We have systems where the children themselves anchor their meetings, and all of that. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, we had the end of year party. And that end of year party, I was just a guest at that party. The children practically ran the show from the beginning to the end. The lead partner was the anchor of that show. The children did the planning alongside the team, and all of that. The children did presentations throughout that, hangout. They did all of the presentations. They started the prayers at the beginning. Basically, I came to chill and have them, serenade me and themselves, throughout that session. Now, the mastermind is hands-on. We say this. It's one of the most practical systems that you can see. We like to say in the mastermind, there's no hiding place. So you can't be in the mastermind and you can't be a backbencher. We don't have backbenchers in the mastermind. You can't. You don't have the opportunity. Our accountability system is so robust that we see you every day. We see you every week. You will get feedback from us so often that you know that there's no hiding place for you. All right. And we encourage parents. Of course, when children come to systems like this, where they are being seen. If you've allowed your children go through a lot of systems where they take the backstage or they hide behind and nobody sees them and they just trottle like that the way they like, they will drag their feet because all of a sudden they have accountability before them. But the truth is, if you want your child to excel, if you want your child to understand the place of personal development and personal push, then you must introduce them to accountability as early as possible. If you come back to us down here in Africa and you see one of the biggest challenges that we have as a people is the lack of accountability. Our parents could have raised us really well. Our parents could have taught us all the amazing things to be, morally sound and all of that. But because somehow accountability systems were not incorporated into our homes. You see, people don't like being, questioned. People don't like being, asked, what's going on. People don't want any of those things. That's why we are constantly shouting, don't judge, don't judge. That's why we're constantly, every time people try to say this could have been done better, you hear people coming to attack and saying, are you any better? Don't judge people. Don't judge me. It is only God that can judge, because we don't like accountability, in this part of the world. And it's because we don't raise our children, with accountability. So no, don't do that to your children. Let's raise children. Let's put them in accountability systems. Let's, incorporate accountability in our parenting. Okay, when we do this, we will raise children who will not only set goals, but will create plans for those goals and will actually live through them because the system holds them accountable. And that's what we do in the mastermind circle. We hold them accountable. So it's easy for you to see our children, fall off the bandwagon, fall off the sideway and get back on track because accountability, the accountability system that we have ensures that you are seen and you are reached out to and you're able to get up, dust up, and then begin to run the race again. So it's such a vibrant and amazing community. It's a transformational community and system. And if you have children between 6 and 13, the mastermind is the place for you. I promise you, you will be so glad that you got in here. And the other thing about the mastermind is how it evolves. It evolves every time. Every cohort is a whole new thing. Every cohort, every time we start a new cohort, we have learned from the previous cohort. We're constantly learning. So what we were 3 years ago is definitely not where we are today. In fact, what we were last year is far from where we are today in the mastermind circle. So it's a place you want to be. The next cohort of the circle begins in January. So registration is open right now. We call it the foundation course, where the children will come in for a 6-week foundation, training or system. We take them through the training and system for 6 whole weeks foundation, and then we jump into the real cohort and we throttle on for the next 6 months to the end of September, when we start a new cohort again. All right, to join the mastermind, all you need to do is book a slot with just 5,000 naira, and then of course you pay off between now and the 30th of January. It's just 55,000 naira for the next 8 months. It is that affordable. I promise you, it's one of the most affordable, if not the most affordable system that you can have, that is so effective and so, committed at all levels, basically. So it's the most effective system that you can get at that cost. And I'm not even copying. All right. So the last part of this class, we will be talking about the next reason why your child has to set goals, and this one is in order for them to impact humanity. All right, we said it's important that they start setting goals. Number one, to achieve family vision. Number two, to achieve their own personal vision. The next one is to impact humanity. All right, your child is a global citizen. Your child is a global citizen. Do not raise local champions. Do not raise local champions, dear parents. So encourage your child to set goals that will benefit others and will foster a sense of global or humanitarian or humanity in the child. All right. So we need to get children in that space where our children begin to see themselves beyond themselves and beyond your home. Let your child know that he or she is a leader. Let your child know that God has called them for a purpose that is bigger than the 4 walls of your house. I don't care how big your house is. All right. Let them know that their purpose is not limited to your home. Your purpose is to arise in the world. Their purpose is to arise in the world. Their purpose is to impact humanity, to change narratives, to change policies, to change things in the world. Think about it. If the Wright brothers and the Michelangelos of the time, and Albert Einstein, and oh, sorry, my network. Sorry about that. If all of these people who have impacted humanity so much, all of these people that have gone ahead of us, these people who invented things that today is making the world easier for us, if they didn't do all of this, or if they limited themselves to their small labs in their garages or the small spaces in their homes, what do you think would have happened to us, in today's world? Now we sit down here and we enjoy technology, we enjoy communication, we enjoy all of the things that started with someone daring to go beyond the 4 walls of their home to create something that can impact humanity. So we cannot be raising children who do not understand that they play a role or they have a role to impact the world, who do not understand that they are global citizens and that your room or your house or your compound or how many compounds you have is not enough for them or is not enough. They can't be that limited. All right. So when our children understand it, then they begin to set goals that will help them impact humanity basically. All right. When our children learn to set goals beyond them, and us, they learn to become empathetic. They become empathy and compassion becomes a part of them. Setting goals for social causes will help our children develop empathy and compassion. Now our children begin to think beyond the scope of themselves and their family. If you look closely, that's another thing that we struggle with in this part of the world, because we don't get children into that space, or we are not brought into that space early enough, where we begin to see life beyond us and our small families, and all of that. It's such a shame that even amongst our leaders, you will see that even amongst our leaders, or even amongst people who are up high there, they're constantly thinking of me, myself, and my family. So that's why you see people get into positions and all they are thinking is how to amass wealth for themselves and for their children and their generations, isn't it? That is because no one, I mean, we're not raised. We're not raised to see beyond us. We're not raised to see beyond our small facet of a family. We're not raised to live our purpose for humanity. And this is why Africa, I dare say, this is why we are where we are in Africa, because of that training that a lot of us did not have. I'm not saying everybody. Some people were raised, but the majority, of us in this part of the world, I don't know how we do it or how the system does it. That hunger to do something for humanity, is not passed down, from generation to generation. So we see more people doing things for themselves so that they and their families can enjoy. And that's about it. In fact, it's not even something to hide and say. It's something that happens, and there are people who clearly state it. It's about me and my family. So that's why we can criticize people until it gets to the time when it's either us or our family members who sit on the seat. Now, when our family members come on the seat, we go mum all of a sudden. We don't have criticism anymore. We don't have nothing to say anymore, because now, Emiloko, it is now my turn. Right, you see, so these are the issues. All right, but if we raise children from the onset and we teach them the place of catering for humanity, the place of living life to impact the world, if we do this, then we will have children who begin to set goals that are beyond your kitchen and beyond your compound, goals that will help them impact the global scene basically. I want to remind you again, dear parents, you are raising a global citizen. You can raise them with a template of a village chief. All right, so let's move on. The next one is positive change. So when we raise children to start setting goals, we raise children to start seeing their place in the world, then they begin to set goals that will change or would make a difference in their communities. Our children will learn by goal setting how to make a difference. Okay, they will learn how to affect the world positively. They will learn the place or the role that they have to change the world and make the world a better place. Very important. All right, very important. When we get our children into setting goals, when we get our children into setting goals and we point them to their role as global citizens, we are preparing them for leadership. We're preparing them for leadership roles. We are teaching them how to develop their leadership skills. Right? That's where we teach the children, or the children begin to understand leadership for what it should be. Leadership as a place of service. The way we see a lot of people out there, okay, sometimes it even begins right from the homes. You see homes where the fathers cannot be questioned. You see homes where the mothers cannot be questioned, right? And then we take it out there to the society. We go to some of our offices and we have bosses that cannot be questioned. And that's how we move on even to our our society, we have a government, or we have governments that cannot be questioned. It is because right from when we were young, we were not raised to understand leadership for what it is. We were not raised to set goals that will help us, improve ourselves, or goals that will help us stand out in our leadership roles or in our roles as people who serve. So raise children, point children to certain goals. Let them set goals that will help them build themselves right in the area of service. Let children set social goals. Let our children set goals to volunteer. Let them set goals to volunteer. Let them set goals, right, to be of service, basically. Let them set goals for what it is that they can do in their school in the coming year that will impact the school. Let them come up with projects that they can do that will impact their communities. Let them start by creating things that will start that they can use to be a blessing to your home, for starters. This year in the mastermind, the children were encouraged to come up with a talent project. That's what we called it. They were encouraged to come up with a talent project. Okay. And basically, what are they supposed to achieve with this? They're supposed to come up with something that they can use a skill or a talent that they already have to achieve. But the goal of it is to do something that will impact their family or their small circle. Their small circle. We didn't tell them what to do. They had to come up with what they want to do themselves, right? And then work towards it. They had a number of weeks to work towards it and put it out there. It could be a product, it could be a service. But basically, they are not thinking of themselves when they are doing this. They are thinking of the next person and how that thing can be a blessing or a means of enjoyment, fun, happiness, togetherness, bonding for not just them, but the people that they're thinking about. Now, when we get children to start thinking this way, when we get children to start doing little projects like this, we're already putting them in that place where they can think beyond themselves and they begin to think of impact. They begin to think of how to make the life of the next person better. This way, they're able to think of how they can be impact maker at a global level, impact maker in a way that they can affect humanity. So these are the things, very, very key. When we get children, the last one I'm going to be sharing today, when we get children in the place where they set goals, we get them on a streak of constant learning. All right, children who set goals are constantly looking for ways to achieve their goals. When children are introduced and encouraged to set goals, then they're able to set goals in different areas, including their academic goals. They're able to set goals in areas, including being able to read books, and achieve a number of books. All right. Last year, what time was that? Sometime, somewhere in the curriculum, we have where our children, I think it's the last quarter of the curriculum, we have the children come up with goals where they set goals in only 3 areas. All right, that's how we end the cohorts at the end of every year. All right, the last part of the year, we get the children to set only 3 goals. Now, at the beginning of the year, every quarter anyway, we get them to set just 3 goals. Now, the last quarter, we get them to set just 3 goals. And we insist on one goal. They can set 2 of their own, or we insist on one particular goal. For last year, we insisted on the children reading books. Okay, we insisted on them reading books, but we didn't give them the number of books that they had to read. We challenged them. We made them challenge themselves to the number of books that they were going to read. So some of them decided they were going to read 2 books, 5 books, 10 books, 12 books, and all of that. So they had decided that, and that's what they did. A lot of them achieved those goals. A lot of them achieved the goals that they set for themselves. Okay, and that's because we want them to understand that they have the power within them. They have the capacity within them to achieve whatever it is that they put their minds to. All right. Now, in doing this, we are pointing them to becoming lifelong learners. Readers are people who will continue to gather or amass wisdom. Okay. The more you read, the wiser you become. The more you read, the more knowledge you have. The more knowledge you have, the more you know how to navigate through situation. And the moment you get to the point where you begin to live out the things that you read in those books, of course, our books are not just any books. The children read books. We point them to books that will, of course, build them, books that will help them, develop themselves, and of course, they still read fiction books, here and there. They still read all kinds of genre books, but we help point them to books that will build them and develop them. Okay, and because we are big on the children learning skills, the books, the skills, the right habit training, and then, of course, the right accountability and consistency through our system, the children are able to become lifelong learners. And so, the more they want to learn, the more they know. The more they know, the more they are eager to learn some more. All right. And of course, all of this is happening because you have put them in a space where the children are able to set goals for themselves and are able to work towards achieving these goals. So, yes, when children set goals, the desire to impact humanity can inspire children to pursue lifelong learning. As they learn, they become wiser. As they become wiser, they, of course, have problems, or sorry, they have solutions to many of the problems in the world because they are constantly seeking knowledge. Constantly seeking knowledge. When you seek knowledge, then you become knowledgeable. When you become knowledgeable and you apply this knowledge, you become wise. And of course, you're able to solve problems. All right. Okay, so this is where we're going to stop the show for today. It's 5 minutes to the time. Okay, I know that you got value from the session. So if you did, share with us something that you are taking from this session that you're going to start applying in your parenting. But for one, I hope we have been able to share with you and help you understand why it is not too early for your child to start setting goals. Okay, it's important for them to understand the place of achieving your family vision. It is important for them to understand the place of achieving their own vision. It is important for them to see the place of them impacting humanity. All right, all of this you can teach, all of this you can pass down, all of these convictions you can pass down to your children when you get them into that place where you begin to set goals in these areas. Goals that can help them be a part of your family vision, meaning you have to have a vision as a family. You have to communicate this vision to your children. You have to help your children understand your mission together as a family. And as you do this, you're able to set goals together, see how you're passing down convictions to their parents. When you help them understand the role they play in their own lives, then they need to set goals to help them achieve the things that they need to become the best versions of themselves will come up. And now the children believe, they know, they understand, and it's easy for them to set these goals. When you understand, or you teach them to understand the role they play in the universe and the purpose for which God has created them, being to impact humanity, then they understand their role as global citizens. And so the children begin to set goals in this area that can help them indeed be impact makers and influencers in the real sense of it, right? So that they can impact their society, impact their community, and impact the world at large. All right. So get your child, if you have children 8 and above, okay, no, 7 and above, get them into the vision workshop that is coming up on the 3rd of January. All you need to get them on board is to get one copy of our book or one of the bundles that we have, not just because of this vision party, but because of vision workshop, but because our books will transform your child. Every child needs to read our books. All right. So this is one of the skill up series, Young and Money Smart. This is about teaching children the abundance mindset. We're teaching them money not just from the place of money as a currency and how liquid you are. We're teaching them money from there to understand that there are different dimensions to money. Even your time is money. We're teaching them money so that your children can think of money from an abundance mindset. Awesome book for every child. Okay, Unlocking Excellence, beautiful book. In this book, we are focused on children. We say it's a children's guide to success beyond the classroom. We're raising children who understand that school is beautiful. Excellence is what is important. And the more you are excellent in every aspect of your life, the better you will do in school. So when children are excellent, the way you do the things you do, the way you talk, the way you act, the way you approach people, when you are excellent in these things, you will automatically become an excellent student. So we say to them, excellence and success is beyond what happens in the classroom. Okay, so classroom is okay, but beyond the classroom, there is more that you can do to be successful in every area of your life. All right, so that's another book in the Skill Up series. And then the third one in the Skill Up series is Destined for Greatness. Amazing book. This is one of my latest books. All right, we have talked about African icons who have distinguished themselves in the continent, okay, and they are worth, being spotlighted. All right, but because of how we write our stories, there's always the fiction part of the story that now takes you to the part where we have African icons that can help you. Icons like Gabriel Selassie, icons like Nelson Mandela, and the likes of them. People who have distinguished themselves in different areas that our children can begin to um, look at to inspire them. But more than that, there are stories of young people, okay, young people who have done, I mean, who are growing just like them. So the first story is here is standing up like Nelson, Coco's story of courage. So it is through Coco's story of courage that we're able to point Coco to seeing how Nelson Mandela, was courageous in the face of apathy. So you see, this is an amazing, amazing book. Every child should. Then we have our Skill Up Journal. I can't see a copy of the Skill Up Journal, but it's a 1 year journal that your child can use to track their journey throughout the year, where they can register, their gratitude, where they can register the events in their lives. They can register, they can actually put their to-do lists per day, and all of that, and then break those goals into small portions. Basically, amazing, amazing journal. It's 365 days. So for each day, your child has a space to journal in. We want our children to start reflecting like that. Very important. All right, so that's it for the Skill Up series. And then for the Stories for Champions series, we have our all-time, this is my first book, amazing book, bestseller. We sold about 5,000 copies of this book. All right, so Bedtime Stories for Champions is a story of young people who are doing inspiring things around the world, young people who are starting businesses, who are impacting their communities, who have become, icons, or who have become, forces to reckon with right from when they were 6 and 8 and 10 and 12. Amazing book. All right, we also have the Playtime Stories for Champions. This one, your children from age 0 to 10 can use this. It's about activities. We believe that the hand is the instrument of the brain. So the more our children get active and do activities, the less they walk away from all the TVs and all the screens. And as they get busy with their hands, their brain develops. So with this book, you have over 20 activities, right? So in this book, we have, why am I always saying 20? We have 30 activities that your children can do right in your home and around the house, right? To stimulate them and to have fun, especially during the holiday. Every family needs this book. Amazing book. And we have Christmas Stories for Champions. In Christmas Stories of Champions, we chronicled the life, and what Christmas was like back in the late 70s and 80s when some of us grew up, right? Christmas, the Christmas where you had to come back from boarding school, the Christmas where you had to go to the village, for a chieftaincy title, maybe a father taking a chieftaincy title. The Christmas where there was the carol troop that came to the compound to come come and sing Christmas carols. I don't know if you had that. I had that growing up, where the carol troop from the church will come to, each person's house, and they're outside in their lovely clothes. Most times they wore white. So we chronicled that here, where the carol troop will come and they see Christmas carol. The family is there watching, and after that they gift them some cakes, and drinks, and sometimes, some money, and all of that. Beautiful. So our children will see what Christmas was like for us. So we chronicled 10 different amazing stories. One of my daughter's favorite story in this is the story of the girl and her pink dress. How her mom has bought the pink dress and had the pink dress in the box and won't allow her to see it. Did that happen to you too? Where they buy it and they make a secret of it and make you feel like they didn't even buy you Christmas clothes, and then everything that you do, you're threatened you will not have your Christmas clothes, or no Christmas clothes for you this year. So we talked about this in this book, how she had to show her friends her Christmas clothes while they are hiding outside, so that her mom will not see that she's showing her friends her Christmas clothes. So see her picking out of the box to show them her pink dress for Christmas. So it's just beautiful stories you want to read to your children and just have fun this holiday. Then we have wisdom stories for champions. This one teaches family values and all of that. It chronicles six cousins who were over at grandma's house for the summer holiday. Amazing, beautiful story about family bonding, grandma's house, grandpa, and all of that. So, yes, these are the books, four of them in our Stories for Champions series. So all together we have 8 of our books, and we have 2 parenting books. This one is the Mentor Parent, and then we have a parenting planner, basically, where you can write beautiful notes to your children. You can write special events in their lives. You can write, all of that. Beautiful book, and you can hand it over to your children when they are old enough, at 20, at 30, and it becomes a legacy, and they can use this, to raise their own children also. It has 12 templates that you can use to create parenting plans for your family. All right, so we have all of these books available. Get one or multiple of them, and your child can be a part of the vision workshop. All right, and then apart from that, get these books for your children. Let them have these books in their library and read these books to them. They are great conversation starters. With this book, you can have endless conversation. With these books, you can have endless conversations with your children. All right, so this is the point where we have to run. If you want your child to be a part of the mastermind circle, it is 55,000 naira to join the mastermind circle from now till the end of the cohort. All right, so your children will come in, and we have the foundation, they work with us, and then they get into the cohorts. A beautiful experience, I promise you. It's a place where your child 6 to 13 need to be, so that they can be with us. Your 13-year-old can at least be with us for a whole year into their 14th, and then the cohorts, after they turn 14, they can now graduate to other big teenage programs. But the foundation is very key for us in the mastermind circle. Thank you for joining me today. I do not take it for granted that you stayed through this session and that you are catching the replay, okay, right now, if you are. All right, do have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you for joining us. Reach out to us if you would like to get any of our books or our resources. We have it scrolling on the screen right now. If you would like to be a part of the sales of the books, right? Right. If you'd like to be a part of the vision workshop for your child, all right, see the information you need right there. Pay into our account number, Zenith Bank, right? Just screen grab it right now and use that to make payments, and send us a message on 08130621566. All right, the information will also be in the comments section on Facebook and on in the description on YouTube. Thank you again, and have a blessed day. Bye for now. Signing out very